NASCAR's known for a lot of things. Going fast, turning left, boogity, boogity, boogity. Great racing, great drivers, and of course, great sponsorships and your relationship with those sponsorships. It seems like one of their longest lasting relationships might be coming to an end. We're going to talk about that. And then a stacked lineup is happening for the Daytona 500. The open spots are going to have me fired up. We had a fantastic Gatorade duel last year as Justin Allgaier squeaks in the Travelers 40 car in. They're in it once again alongside some others. We're going to have a show. We're going to talk about it. Smash the like button, subscribe, and let's roll it. So like I said, NASCAR's been founded on going left and going fast and then having great sponsorship. Something that as fans growing up, especially with my grandpa, you didn't use a certain brand if your opponent, if you're the driver you hated, used that brand. Okay? Now, nowadays with sponsors like Austin Dillon being sponsored by inhalers and whatnot, I don't know if we're, living or dying by that as much as possible, but one of those iconic ones is McDonald's, and I've got the old Billy Elliot gold McDonald plated cards for my grandpa back in the day. And now here we are. It seems that the McDonald's sponsorship has come to an end. 2311 being the biggest partnership from a car standpoint. Obviously, we had the great cars from Bubba Wallace and from Tyler Reddick last year. Hell, I even went to the race at the end of the summer in Daytona, went to the little McDonald's pop-up tent. So it's been something that's surrounded the sport for quite some time now, but it appears that they have moved on from McDonald's to now Hardee's. We were all kind of waiting and seeing. Everybody's announcing what their schemes and their paint schemes would look like, their major sponsorships heading into this season. Again, McDonald's being a multi-million-dollar sponsorship for NASCAR and, of course, 2311 for multiple years now, has come to essentially a close. McDonald's said they were pulling out of the Chicago street weight race last year, which that race was coming to an end, so I don't think anybody really batted an eye to it. But now it looks like they have pulled themselves out completely. There has been no official report on this, but they don't sponsor any big-time drivers. They don't have any plans to sponsor a race. It seems they'll be making their move to Formula One. And this is just another, in my opinion, another big sponsorship that is removing themselves from NASCAR. Obviously, the M&M car and Kyle Busch a few years back was a big one for me. I was kind of disappointed seeing them leave the sport as well. And this kind of just seems to be the way of the land. We had a video where we talked about the possibility of NASCAR selling out some shares, getting away from that private firm and opening themselves up, possibly partnering up with the likes of a UFC, which would allow for them to have maybe some more opportunities from bigger sponsorships. So maybe this will change as years go on, and they'll get back into their way of things of landing some of these big-time sponsorships and not the likes of WeatherTech. And again, our famous, was it Bretzel? Reisel? I don't even know how to pronounce it, okay? The Austin Dillon's sponsorships. But we'll see how all that shapes up. Hardee's should be fun. I don't think I can't think of the last time I ate at Hardee's, but, we'll accept it. We'll bring him in and welcome him to the family. Now, let's talk about this, boys and girls, because Daytona 500 is just a few weeks away, and I'm beyond excited for it. Some big-time names, big-time entries. Corey LaJoie finds himself in the 99 car. Carl Edwards, a little throwback here. What's also really cool about what that team is doing there at RFK Racing is they're going to give a huge shout-out to Greg Biffle and have all of their numbers have that old-style 16 look to it, like Greg Biffle used to rock back in the day, along with the 99. So really cool to see that. But along that way, of course, the 40 Travelers car, which is I still think is the best paint scheme in the Daytona 500. If you guys have a better option, please let me know. But I don't think that it will be beaten again this year. I think it was number one last year, and I think it will be this year. But we've got some great entries headed into the Daytona 500. One being Chandler Smith from Front Row. Second being, of course, Justin Allgaier. Then J.J. Yealy. And then Anthony Alfredo. Casey Mears. Corey Heim, who, if I'm not mistaken, still hasn't announced his plans for the 2026 season after having a historic truck series last year. And then BJ McLeod, who's kind of floated around for the last couple of years, rocking that straight black 78 race car. And then, of course, Corey LaJoie, who will all be trying to qualify themselves into the Daytona 500. More likely, we'll find a lot of these guys racing in on Thursday in what I still refer to as the Gatorade duels. And I will be there. And again, last year we had fireworks with Allgaier racing in at the last lap, finishing top 10 to find himself in the Daytona 500. I'd assume we have similar excitement headed into this season as well. Really excited to see what these guys are going to be able to do. And I'm really excited to see if Justin Allgaier can kind of take JR Motorsports to that next level. They had a ton of success last year with the Travelers car, with the Chris Stapleton partnership. And again, with the success they had, and I think they had a pretty strong finish in the Daytona 500, if I remember correctly, a lot of people were wondering, would they buy a charter? Would they at least try to have a charter, obviously in the Cup Series? And Junior talked about just the expense and getting sponsorships for that. And this is that first step to getting to there and getting some exposure. And I feel like they did a bang up job where I don't see how they can't. But that's neither here nor there. That's not my my thing to get into. But maybe another successful year here, they'll be able to carry over some of that success they have in what is now known as O'Reilly Series into the Cup Series and get the ball rolling here. But I want to know in the comment section below, out of these open cars, give me your top 2 that you would like to see. I think most people are probably pulling for Justin Allgaier, just given the history with JR Motorsports. But maybe I almost want to say 3. Give me your top 3 that you would like to see make it into the Daytona 500 and have ourselves an exciting one. Of course, Jimmy Johnson will be in as well, but he's already locked in with his exemption, so he's already in the Daytona 500. So you can't pick him. But out of the other ones, I wouldn't mind seeing Corey LaJoie. Obviously, lost a few years back. Raced in the Daytona 500 last year. I think he even led some laps last year, if I'm not mistaken. At least ran up to the front of the pack towards the end there. If I'm not mistaken, caused a wreck towards the end, as Corey LaJoie typically does. We saw Corey LaJoie most of the time in tight shirts in the press box with our guy Kyle during the Amazon Prime series. So maybe we'll see him some more behind the wheel. I know he would love to be behind the wheel some more this year. But be sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. I'm enjoying putting it out, and we'll see you boys in the next one. Peace and love, baby.